The session is called to order. Please rise for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem to be performed by the Jose de Piro Kabataan Orchestra. Please remain standing for the doxology to be played by the Jose de Piro Kabataan Orchestra. Session is suspended. Let's give them another round of big applause.
May we invite all congressmen to have a photo op with the orchestra? Please, here, in front. Photo na muna tayo.
Photo with all
Sa
the
lukod,
songs.
all the songs.
Somebody from rules repeat that.
We're inviting all congressmen, all representatives to take their photos taken with our guests here with the Kawire. Thank you.
Sila yung one. Si May Father. We can acknowledge the priest.
Somebody from rules. Kong Villa Garcia. This is her point.
Thank you.
Once again, may we invite all our beloved legislators to please join us for a photo here in front. Thank you.
Kong.
Salamat ha. Support.
Hello, dear.
Parang okay ka na kasi yun eh.
Hindi talaga, promise. Yung picture tayo.
Yan, dito na ako.
Pati yung mga bata, isama mo. Hindi ba natin ngayon? Hindi. Ay nga pala kayo pala. Natuwa lang kami ng
Yes, sir. Galing, galing. Thank you, thank you.
As much as you want to, there's a work to be done. But thank you so much. Proceeding this way, enter the gallery.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you po.
Clear mo na. Thanks muna na.
Sabi yung ticket na kinuha nila. Tawagan ko noon, turun. Doon ako kailan na dawat ako partner. Wala pa. Tawagan ko lang. Actually,
20 pa. Palma.
Friday. Hindi ba nito, di ba? Boss, meron pa isa.
Opo, boss.
Session is resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we call the roll of the members.
The Secretary General is directed to call the roll of members.
Roll call of members. Honorable Representatives Abalos, Abante, Abunda, Acharon, Asidre, Acop, Adyong, Advincula, Agaraw, Alba, Albano, Almario, Almonte, Alonte, Alvarez Jose, Alvarez Mercedes, Alvarez Pantaleon, Amante, Amatong, Angara, Aquino, Aquino Magsaysay, Arbison, Arenas, Arrogancia, Asistio, Ataide, Omentado, Balindong, Barba, Barbers, Baronda, Barzaga, Bascug, Bautista, Bautista Lim, Benitez, Bernos, Billones, Biron, Bolilia, Bondok, Bongalon, Bordado, Bosita, Briones, Brosas, Buhain, Bulut Begtang, Bustos, Cabredo, Cagas, Kahayon Uy, Calderon, Calixto, Campos, Kawagdan, Cardema, Cari, Castro Franz, Castro Jean, Celeste, Chan, Chato, Chua, Chungalao, Ko Angelica Natasha, Ko Elizaldi, Ko Pilar, Ko Juanco Jaime Eduardo Mark, Ko Juanco Mark, Colada, Coliantes, Corvera, Cruz Ambrosio, Cruz Ricardo, Cua, Quaresma, Dagook, Dalipe, Dalog, Dayang Hirang, Daza, De Jesus, De Venecia, Defensor, Del Mar, De Los Santos, Dimaporo Muhammad Khalid, Dimaporo City Amina, Dionisio, Domingo, Duavit, Duhali, Duterte, D. Faustino Ino, D. Faustino Michael Carlos, D. Ian Paul, Ecleo, Emano, Enverga, Escudero, Espares, Espina, Estrella, Udela, Farinas, Fernandez, Ferrer Antonio, Ferrer Juliet Marie, Flores, Fortes, Frasco, Fresnedi, Fuentebella, Galeos, Garcia Albert, Garcia Dante, Garcia Jose Arturo, Garcia Maria Angela, Garcia Pablo Jan, Garcia Vincent, Guardiola, Garin, Gasataya, Gato, Goed Christopher, Gomark, Goles, Gomez, Gonzaga, Gonzales Aurelio, Gonzales Neptali, Gonzales Sandro, Goriseta, Guico, Gintu, Gulias, Gutierrez, Hagidorn, Haresco, Hataman, Hernandez, Herrera, Horibata, Javier, Ko Olga Ara, Ko Ricardo, Ko Wilton, Konghun, Labad-Labad, Lacson, Lacson Noel, Lagman, Lagon Daphne, Lagon Sani, Lara, Lazatin, Lee, Legarda, Libanan, Lim Kaichong, Loyola, Luistro, Lumayag, Makapagal Arroyo, Maceda, Madrona, Magsino, Malapitan, Mangawang, Maniquis, Manuel, Marañon, Marcoleta, Marcos, Mariano Hernandez, Marinho, Marquez, Martinez, Mastura, Matibag, Matugas, Mendoza, Mercado, Mercado Revilla, Miguel, Momo, Morden, Nava, Nisay, Noel, Nograles Juan Fidel Felipe, Nograles Margarita, Nolasco, Owaminal, Olaso, Olivares, Ongchuan, Ordanes, Ortega, Uano Dizon, Padiernos, Paduano, Paglas, Palma, Panaligan, Pancho, Panotes, Pascual, Peña, Pimentel, Plaza, Plito, Primicia Sagabas, Pumaren, Puno, Kimbo, Rama, Recto, Regencia, Remulla, Revilla Brian, Revilla Ramon Jolo, Reyes, Rillo, Rivera, Robes, Rodriguez Eulogio, Rodriguez Rufus, Roman, Romero, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Romualdez Yeda Marie, Romualdo, Romulo, Roque, Sakdalan, Sagarbaria, Sakaluran, Salceda, Sali, Salimbangon, Salo, Salvame, Santos, Saulu, Silverio, Singson Richel, Singson Ronald, Singson Mihan, Solon, Suwan, Suwansing Horacio, Suwansing Micaela Angela, Suarez, Talyado, Tamayo, Tambunting, Tan Joseph, Tan Keith Micah, Tan Reynolds Michael, Tan Samir, Tan Stephen James, Tan Tambut, Tan Chay, Tan Watko, Tariela, Teodoro, Teves, Tiangco, Tieng, Tolentino, Tulfo Erwin, Tulfo Jocelyn, Tulfo Ralph Wendell, Tupas, Tutor, T, Umali, Unabia, Ungab, Valeriano, Valmayor, Vargas, Vargas Alfonso, Velasco, Veloso Tuazon, Vergara, Verzosa, Villa, Villafuerte Luis Raymond, Villafuerte Miguel Luis, Villanueva, Villar, Villaraza Suarez, Villarica, Villago, Yamsuan, Yap Christiantel, Yap Christopherson, Yap Edvig, Yap Eric, Yu Divina Gris, Yu Giselle Victoria, Yulo, Zamora Amparo Maria, Zamora Maria Carmen, Zamora Isabel Maria, Zubiri. Mr. Speaker, the roll call shows that 238 members responded to the call.
With 230 members responding to the call, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, before we proceed, may I request that we acknowledge the guests of the representative of the 3rd District of the Province of Bataan, the Honorable Maria Angela Garcia, namely the Jose de Piro Kabataan Orchestra, who earlier performed or played the national anthem and the doxology. Thank you for that wonderful performance.
we would like to acknowledge the presence of the Jose de Piro Kabataan Orchestra. You had a very wonderful performance. Let's give them a big hand. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader,
May I also request that we acknowledge the guests of the same representative, Maria Angela Garcia, namely the members of the Dinalupihan Tourism Council, the officers of the Department of Education, Regional Office Number 3, Father Joseph Cremona, and members of the Sangguniang Bayan of the Municipality of Dinalupihan in Bataan.
we would like to acknowledge the guests of the Honorable Maria Angela Garcia from the Sangguniang Bayan of Dinalupihan, Bataan, Father Joseph Carmona, and the guests of the lady from the 3rd District of the Province of Bataan. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader, may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, we would like to acknowledge Honorable Jam Baronda's guests, namely Mr. Saulos Kuzminkas, Vice President of the Luthean Basketball Federation, and Mr. Mark Ryan Juanitas for accompanying him.
We would like to acknowledge the guest of the Honorable Jam Baronda, Mr. Saulos Kosminkas from the Lithuanian Basketball Federation, and Mark Ryan Juanitas from Davao City. Mayong pag-abot din sa tuwang Ubos Balay Balaoranan. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader,
Mr. Speaker, we would also like to acknowledge the guests of Jude Asidre. From the Prime World Manpower Agency, Mr. Ariel Bautista and Mr. Tomas Surca.
We would like to acknowledge the guests of the Honorable Jude Asidre, Mr. Ariel Bautista, and Mr. Tomas Surca. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
We would also like to acknowledge the guest of Bong Teves, Dr. Gerardo Hanayero and Mr. Rene Llanos, PGT Party List.
We acknowledge the guests of the Honorable Bong Teves. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we leave the House. I move that we reconsider the approval of Journal Number 12, dated August 22, 2023.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The approval of the Journal Number 12 is hereby reconsidered. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move to amend page 14 of the Journal Number 12, dated August 22, 2023, by correcting the numbers of affirmative votes for the House Bill Number 8568 that the body approved on third reading on the same day from 233 to 230, with the negative votes and abstention remaining at 3 and 0 respectively.
There is a motion to amend Journal Number 12, dated August 22, 2023. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The motion is carried. Journal Number 12, dated August 22, 2023, is hereby amended and approved.
Mr.
Majority Leader.
Speaker, considering that the copies of Journal Number 14, dated August 29, 2023, and Journal Number 15, dated August 30, 2023, were already distributed to the members, I move to dispense with the reading of the said journals. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to dispense with the reading of the aforementioned journals. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved. The reading of the said journals is dispensed with. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we approve Journal Number 14, dated August 29, 2023, and Journal Number 15, dated August 30, 2023.
There is a motion to approve Journal Number 14, dated August 29, 2023, and Journal Number 15, dated August 30, 2023. Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is carried. Journal Number 14, dated August 29, 2023, and Journal Number 15, dated August 30, 2023, are hereby approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the guests of Representative Harris Christopher Ongchuan of the 2nd District of Northern Samar, Governor Edwin Marino Ongchuan of the Province of Northern Samar.
We would like to acknowledge the guest of Representative Harris Christopher Ongchuan from the 2nd District of Northern Samar. May we acknowledge Governor Edwin Marino Ongchuan from the Province of Northern Samar. Welcome to the House of Representatives, Governor. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, today being Monday and pursuant to our rules, I move that we open privilege hour.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the privilege hour is hereby declared open. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I now move that the gentleman from Party List Bicol Saro, Representative Brian Raymond Yamsuan, be recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
The gentleman from the party list Bicol Saro, Representative Brian Raymond Yamsuan, is hereby recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, our correctional system is in a stage of severe crisis. In the previous months, our country has been plagued by news highlighting deplorable conditions of our persons deprived of liberty and the challenges faced by our jail and prisons officers every day. Prison overcrowding has remained an ongoing, persistent issue. According to the mid-year statistics provided by the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology and the Bureau of Corrections, our prisons, meant for 12,251 PDLs, now house 51,561 individuals. Ang National Bilibid Prisons po ay ginawa para sa 6,435 PDLs lamang. Pero sa kasalukuyan at sa kasamaang palad, nagsisiksikan po ang mahigit 30,000 PDLs doon. Ganito rin ang sitwasyon ng mga pasilidad ng BJMP na sa kasalukuyan ay may congestion rate na 358%. The gravity of this situation was highlighted by Bucor General Chief Gregorio Catapang himself, who shared that the congestion within the Bilibid has reached such dire levels that they have been compelled to resort to housing PDLs within the confines of the facility's open-air basketball court. Meanwhile, in city jails, lack of adequate space has forced inmates to adopt an orthodox sleeping arrangement such as rotating shifts, sleeping on the steps of staircases, or even making improvised hammocks. Malnutrition is also a concerning issue. The allocated daily budget for each inmate meal is 70 pesos, while their daily medical allowance is at 15 pesos. As we know, this is insufficient to provide the nutritional requirements of our PDLs. Ano na nga lamang ang nutrisyon na makukuha mo sa 70 pesos para sa almusal, tanghalian, at hapunan? PDL health is public health. Alam po ba ninyo na sa buong bansa, mayroon lamang tayong 16 na medical officers at 3 psychiatrists. Distinguished colleagues, we must bear in mind that no less than the 1987 Constitution prohibits the use of substandard and inadequate penal facilities under subhuman conditions. We are also a signatory to the United Nations Standard Minimum Rules for Treatment of Prisoners, more familiarly known as the Nelson Mandela Rules. This provides us that upon imprisonment of any individual, that it becomes duty of the state to safeguard his or her health and overall welfare. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the appalling state of our prison and jail system has spawned a multitude of problems and corrupt practices. It has compelled certain prisons authorities to adopt unconventional measures, such as permitting PDLs to place online food orders or allowing relatives to transfer money to them through e-wallets or the GCash system. Such practices, in turn, have been exploited by corrupt jail guards who, according to Justice Secretary Boying Rimulya, take 20% cut for every peso sent to the inmate. Maaring malit lang nga 20%, mga kababayan, pero kung titignan natin ang bilang ng mga PDL sa Bilibid, makikita natin naging lucrative business na para sa ating mga corrupt na opisyal. It is easy to blame prison officials for continuing deterioration of our correctional institution, but they themselves are fighting hard to survive in a fragmented system riddled with red tape, a system that lacks manpower and resources to effectively manage PDLs and provide them humane living condition. As a former Assistant Secretary of the Department of the Interior and Local Government, I was provided with a bird's-eye view of the problems we face in this respect. The DILG exercises supervision over the BJMP, which in turn oversees the operation of the country's district, municipal, and city jails. Provincial jails are another matter, as these are under the supervision of the provincial governments. The Bucor, for its part, is under the DOJ. Dito pa lamang po ay makikita na natin ang pagkawatak-watak ng pamamahala ng mga PDL sa ating mga bilangguan. Mr. Speaker, distinguished colleagues, our nation's correctional facilities, which are meant to be places for rehabilitation and transformation, have instead become breeding grounds for despair and recidivism. Therefore, distinguished colleagues, I ask this Congress to give primacy to the measures that extend a hand of reform and redemption to our countrymen who deserve a second chance. After all, the current administration, under the leadership of our President, Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr., is steering towards a bagong Pilipinas. As we know, building this new society requires transformative mindset in governance, for indeed we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used to create them. To make real progress, we must change our mindset towards enabling good governance. Sabi ko nga po sa ating mga kaibigan sa public service, if we are to make something viral, let us make good governance viral. Our bagong Pilipinas should ensure that no one is left behind, including persons deprived of liberty. We should give them a genuine chance to rebuild their lives by supporting measures that will institute reforms in our correctional system. We show through concrete action the strong commitment of the House of the People to the very principles of justice, compassion, and the belief in the potential of the individual to transform his life for the better. Diyos mabalos at marahay na hapon sa Indogabos.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the gentleman from Iloilo, the Honorable Congressman Lawrence Defensor, for his interpellation.
The Honorable Defensor is recognized for his interpellation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also wish to thank the gentleman for putting into light the plight of the Bureau of Jail Management as well as our correction system here in the Philippines. May I know from the gentleman what is the proposed budget for the Bureau of Jail Management as well as the Bureau of Corrections under the 2024 proposed national budget?
I think, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chair, the proposed budget of the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology is under 12 billion. But I will look into the records, Mr. Chair. I've asked my staff to provide me with the numbers now.
And we will support whatever the proposed budget intended for the Bureau of Corrections, as well as the Bureau of Jail Management. Why? One of the reasons why I had to stand up, because we have to take into consideration the plight of our persons deprived of liberties. Because under the 2024 proposed budget for the BJMP as well as the Bureau of Corrections, there was a proposal to increase their food allowance as their medical allowance. Under the proposal submitted to the Department of Budget and Management, 100 piso po bawat inmate ang hinihingi para sa pagkain ng ating mga inmates at 30 pesos para sa kanilang medical expense. That is a meager daily allowance na pakaliit para sa kanilang pagkain. And would the gentleman know how much did the Department of Budget and Management approve for their food and medical allowance based on the 100 peso and 30 pesos proposal?
Only 15 pesos, Mr. Chair.
That's correct, Mr. Speaker. Sa 30 pesos po na medical expense na hiningi ng BJMP at Bucor, binalik po sa 15 pesos pa din at sa hininging 100 piso na food allowance bawat inmate, ibinalik ulit sa 70 pesos. Napakaliit po na halaga na bagay sana para sa pagkain at sa isang humane facility for our inmates. Now, may I know from the gentleman what is the current congestion rate of our penal system in the country today.
Mr. Chair, as to date, 358% is the congestion rate.
That's correct, but the figure is even higher, Mr. Speaker. Our congestion rate right now is at 383%. At ang hiningi po na 23 billion sana ng Department of Justice na pagpapatayo ng bagong mga correctional facilities ay nireject pa ng Department of Budget and Management. May I know from the honorable gentleman if he will support an increase in the 2024 national budget for Bucor and BJMP?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I will support an increase in the budget, especially in the facilities that the Department of Justice will make. In fact, Mr. Chair, I had a conversation with our Secretary of Justice, and he has asked help of Congress to increase the budget in terms of the facilities that are needed to basically house these PDLs.
Being one of the pillars of our criminal justice system, our penal justice system, nagpapasalamat po ako sa Ginoo sa kanyang pagsuporta. At sana po hindi maligaw ang pondo ng ating bansa sa ibang mga bagay na hindi naman kailangan ng ibang ahensya at dapat malagay sa tamang ahensya. Tutulungan ko po ang mabuting Ginoo na ma-increase ang budget ng Bucor at ng BJMP at sana tulungan din po natin siya. That's all, Mr. Speaker, and I would like to thank the gentleman from Bicol Saro Party List for his privileged speech.
Thank you very much for that manifestation, Mr. Chair, and I gladly thank the distinguished gentleman from Iloilo for his manifestation, and I hope that he will be one with me in my pursuit towards increasing the budget of the Bucor and the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the lady from ACT Teachers Party List, Honorable Franz Castro, for her interpellation.
The lady from ACT Teachers Party List, Honorable Franz Castro, is recognized for her interpellation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Magandang hapon po. Ito po ay manifestation lang.
Maraming salamat.
So, nagbibigay po ako ng pasasalamat sa ating kasamahan, ang Honorable Brian Yansuan, doon sa kanyang privilege speech. Alam niyo po, ang kinatawang ito ay masugid na nag-advokasya ng pagbibigay ng makatao na pagkain at yung mga pangangailangan like yung mga medical assistance sa ating mga PDL. Dahil sino naman po kaya yung mabubuhay ng malusog sa loob ng ating mga piitan sa 70 pesos. So 25 per meal, 25 pesos per meal, lunch and dinner, tapos 20 doon sa agahan. Kahit nga itlog ngayon, di ba? Mahal-mahal na. Kaya talagang sinusuportahan ko po ang panawagan ng ating kasamahan. As regard do sa medical, no, yung 15 pesos na medical assistance doon sa ating mga PDL, napakaliit po nito, Mr. Speaker, dahil talagang ngayon nga, tignan nga natin kung makakabili nga na kahit na ano bang antibiotic ang mabibili ng 15 pesos. Pati na gamot pang sipon o gamot pang flu or colds. Kaya tayo po ay kaisa ng ating kinatawan mula sa Party List Bicol Saro sa kanyang panawagan para suportahan po ang ating mga person deprived with liberties. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker.
Maraming salamat po at I assure you, Madam Chair, kumbaga sa ating kakaibigan mula sa ACT Teachers Party List na si kagalang-galang Franz Castro na tayo po ay mag-move dun sa restoration ng budget nila na sa 130 pesos gaya ng sinabi sa atin ng ating kasamahang si Lawrence Defensor ng Iloilo. Tayo po ay talagang pinuntahan sa opisina ng ating mga kasamahan sa Bureau of Jail at sa Bureau of Corrections. Tayo po ay malapit dyan bilang dating Assistant Secretary po sa DILG. At nakikita po natin talaga yung pagkukulang. In fact, kahit nga po sa kanilang mga doktor, 16 lang po ang nandun sa kanilang mga doktor sa buong BJMP at saka 3 psychiatrist. Alam naman po natin ang mental health, napakalaking bagay po yan sa kasarinlan ng ating mga preso. So ako po ay nagpapasalamat sa inyong manifestasyon at hayaan niyo po isama-sama po tayo dito sa pagpapabago ng ating prison system.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the gentleman from the 1st District of Zamboanga, Sibugay, Honorable Wilfred Palma, for his manifestation.
The Honorable Gentleman from Zamboanga, Sibugay, the Honorable Wilfred Palma, is recognized for his manifestation.
Mr. Speaker, it's just a short manifestation. During last Thursday, Department of Interior and Local Government briefing, there was a rice subsidy given to the PNP, Bureau of Jail, and Bureau of Fire Penology, Bureau of Fire. And I requested them, if they're amenable, to realign on top of their salary, they're still receiving rice subsidy. I requested them if it would be possible to realign this budget towards the PDL, persons deprived of liberty. And during the budget briefing, the PNP, Bureau of Jail Management, and the Bureau of Fire agree and willing to realign the rice subsidy for the sake of the PDL. Imagine they are just receiving 70 pesos per day, meaning to say it's 23 pesos per meal. And I would like to express my gratitude to the leadership of the PNP, to the Bureau of Fire, and to the Bureau of Jail Management. Notwithstanding the Department of National Defense, I was made to understand also that they have also an item of rice subsidy on top of the salaries of these armed forces of the Philippines. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Chair, I thank the distinguished gentleman from Zamboanga, Sibugay. I was present when he made that manifestation during the budget of the DILG, and I thank him for his manifestation.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the lady from Gabriela Party List for her manifestation on the Honorable Arlene Brosas.
The Honorable Arlene Brosas from the Gabriela Party List is hereby recognized for her manifestation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Nakakatuwa po na pag-usapan natin ang budget ng Bucor, lalong-lalo na sa usapin ng subsistence. Kasi food po talaga yung kanilang sinasabi, no? Yung mga PDLs natin, yan talagang pinaka-problema. We actually had a proposal to double it last year, no? Ang subsistence po from 70 to 140 pesos. At ang gusto sana namin, yung medical na sinasabi po ng ating very good, no, na distinguished colleague, na ang medical from 15 pesos to 30 pesos kasi yun po yung problema, no, ng ating mga PDL sa kasalukuyan. In fact, hindi lang po yun yung problema. Marami pa pong nakaka-compound pa na problema katulad ng availability talaga ng doktor, ng mga facilities, ng mga pangangailangan nila sa loob talaga. And Mr. Speaker, gusto ko lang sabihin na kailangan talaga nating mag-site visit, ng jail visit, actual, para makita natin yung kalagayan nila. Kasi ang binabanggit nga nila, even yung food, lalagyan mo lang yun porridge lugaw, lalagyan mo lang ng konting manok, pira-piraso, kasi hindi naman kakasya yun 70 pesos nga lang yung yung pondo. So, Mr. Speaker, napakahalaga, no, na itong topic na ito ay mapag-usapan at masabi natin na yung kailangang pangangalaga sa mga PDL, dapat human treatment yon. Hindi po inhumane at hindi rin cruel sa kanila. Kaya sinusuportahan po ng Gabriela Women's Party ang mga panukalang katulad nito. Maraming salamat, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much, distinguished colleague.
Maraming salamat sa ating kaibigan mula sa Gabriela Party List sa kanyang manifestation. Ako'y nagpapasalamat dahil nabubuksan na yung isipan ng ating lipunan sa mga problema din natin regarding sa mga PDLs. Kasi ang tinitignan lang natin, Mr. Chair, is yung problema natin sa mga nakakatakas, yung problema dun sa congestion, pero hindi natin tinitignan yung kasalukuyang kalusugan ng ating mga preso. And I think if we fix this, Mr. Chair, kasi nasabi nga ni dating presidente ng South Africa, Nelson Mandela, prison health is public health. And I think it will really redound to our nation building pagka ito'y naayos natin.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of the Honorable Representative Brian Raymond Jamsuan of Bicol Saro Party List to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion to refer the privileged speech to the Committee on Rules is hereby approved. Majority
Mr.
Leader.
Speaker, I move that we acknowledge the guests of the representative of the 1st District of Pangasinan, the Honorable Arthur F. Celeste. They are Municipal Vice Mayor Honorable Gwen P. Yamamoto of the Municipality of Bani, Pangasinan, the members of the Municipal Council and staff.
We would like to acknowledge the guests of the Honorable Arthur Celeste from the 1st District of Pangasinan, the members of the Sangguniang Bayan of the Municipality of Bani, Pangasinan, headed by the Municipal Vice Mayor. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I also move that we acknowledge the guests of the representative of ACT-CIS Party List, the Honorable Erwin T. Tulfo, and they are the members of the University of the East Faculty Association.
May we acknowledge the guests of the Honorable Erwin Tulfo from ACT-CIS Party List, the guests from the University of the East Faculty Association. Welcome to the House of Representatives. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of the Honorable Representative Brian Raymond Jamsuan to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
There was an earlier motion already.
Yes. Okay. Motion to suspend, Mr. Speaker.
Session suspended.
Including with the interpellations. Okay, okay. Together with the interpellations. Okay, okay.
Session is resumed.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the speech of the Honorable Brian Jamsuan to the Committee on Rules together with its manifestations and interpellations to the Committee on Rules.
There is a motion to amend the earlier motion to refer the speech of the Honorable, privileged speech of the Honorable Brian Jamsuan, including the interpellations and manifestations. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the gentleman from the 1st District of Bukidnon to avail of the privilege hour for his privileged speech. I move that we recognize Representative Jose Manuel Alba.
The gentleman from the 1st District of Bukidnon, Representative Jose Manuel Alba, is hereby recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Mr. Speaker, esteemed colleagues, magandang hapon sa ating lahat. This afternoon, allow me to speak to you about 3 important occasions that share a common thread: our responsibility to safeguard our planet and building a sustainable future. These are the National Green Building Day on September 8, the World Bamboo Day on September 18, and for the whole month of September, we are celebrating the Philippine Bamboo Month. World Bamboo Day. The upcoming World Bamboo Day on September 18 is a global recognition of bamboo's incredible potential as a sustainable resource. It is celebrated globally every year to spread awareness about bamboo and its huge potential as a sustainable resource. The celebration shines a light on the remarkable qualities of this plant, symbolizing resilience, adaptability, and sustainability. Bamboo's rapid growth and versatility have made it an invaluable resource for communities worldwide. From construction to craftsmanship, furniture to textile, bamboo showcases its strength and versatility while leaving a minimal carbon footprint. Today, let's draw inspiration from bamboo's ability to combat deforestation, reduce carbon emission, and improve lives through sustainable cultivation. We are also celebrating the National Green Building Day annually, and it will be on September 8th, a day designated by Proclamation 1030 to underscore our commitment to environmentally conscious construction practices. Proclamation 1030, signed by former President Duterte, emphasizes the importance of green and sustainable construction practices. Our country, like many others, faces environmental challenges, from climate change to resource depletion. Green buildings are part of the solution, designed to use resources efficiently, minimize waste, and reduce environmental impact. By embracing energy-efficient designs, renewable energy sources, and eco-friendly materials, we can shrink our carbon footprint and contribute to a healthier planet. Proclamation 1041, also signed by former President Duterte, underscores the role of bamboo in our national development. Bamboo, with its unique properties and versatility, has emerged as a game changer in various industries, especially the engineered bamboo. Beyond its engineering applications, bamboo production as a strategy holds the key to tackling multifaceted issues such as poverty reduction, reforestation, and the urgent need for an alternative material to hardwood. Rapidly renewable, bamboo provides a sustainable source of income for communities. By promoting the growth of bamboo-based industries, we can empower local farmers, uplifting livelihoods, and creating job opportunities that contribute to poverty reduction. Proclamation 1041 cited an Executive Order number 879 establishing the Philippine Bamboo Industry Development Council. Executive Order number 879 was signed in 2010 by former President and esteemed colleague, the Honorable Gloria Macapagal Arroyo. Now, the connection between these three occasions is evident. Bamboo embodies the principle of sustainable construction. It grows rapidly, sequesters carbon, and requires minimal resources for cultivation. By promoting bamboo as construction material, we do not only create eco-friendly buildings, but also support our local bamboo industry that benefits both the environment and rural communities. Structural engineered bamboo represents a remarkable fusion of nature's brilliance and human ingenuity in the realm of sustainable construction. Harnessing the remarkable properties of bamboo, a rapidly renewable resource, we have unlocked a versatile building material that stands as a testament to our commitment to greener, more eco-conscious construction practices. Engineered bamboo undergoes a meticulous transformation process where bamboo clumps are carefully selected, treated, laminated, and fabricated to create robust structural elements. The result is a material that not only showcases impressive strength and durability, but also helps reduce our carbon footprint, mitigating the environmental impact of traditional building materials like concrete and steel. By prioritizing structural engineered bamboo as replacement to hardwood, we embrace a future that values sustainability without compromising structural integrity. Its application spans from eco-friendly architectural masterpieces to sustainable furniture and structures, showcasing its adaptability and resilience. As we look to build a world that harmonizes with nature, structural engineered bamboo emerges as a beacon of hope, a symbol of our commitment to both innovation and environmental responsibility. My dear colleagues, this is the timber of the future. Strong as steel, tough as concrete, and proudly made in the Philippines. In celebrating September as Bamboo Month, World Bamboo Day, and the National Green Building Day, we align with the global movement towards sustainable future. These observances reminds us that our choices today influence the world we live for future generations. As responsible stewards of our planet, we possess the power to drive change and make a lasting impact. Let's use this occasion to recommit ourselves to sustainability, innovation, and collaboration. Across nations and industries, let's harness bamboo's potential and embrace new green building practices. Together, we can create a world that thrives on renewable resources, regenerative design, and a profound respect for the Earth's intricate ecosystems. These three occasions remind us that our choices today shape the world we will inhabit tomorrow. Let us forge a future that is green and sustainable. Once again, good afternoon.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move to refer the speech of the Honorable Representative Jose Manuel F. Alba to the Committee on Rules.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. Motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move to recognize Representative Sergio C. Dagoc of the party list APEC to avail of the privilege hour.
The gentleman from APEC party list, the Honorable Representative Sergio Dagoc, is hereby recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader. Honorable Speaker, esteemed colleagues from this august body, our beloved Filipino people watching us virtually, good afternoon, magandang hapon po. Today, I rise on a matter of personal and collective privilege, aiming to directly address the contentions, speculations, and baseless attacks on a recent published material concerning the performance of electric cooperatives. And as representative of the aggregation of electric cooperatives in the country, I simply cannot take this sitting down. Ito po ay para na rin sa kaalaman ng ating mga kababayang nanonood, lalo na po ang ating mga konsumante ng kuryente mula sa iba't ibang kanayunan na sineserbisyuhan ng mga electric cooperatives dahil sila po ang lubos na apektado ng usaping ito. Mr. Speaker, a few days ago, electric cooperatives and distribution utilities serving our rural communities and far-flung areas were allegedly ordered to ship up or ship out by key government officials in the energy sector, citing reasons such as poor management, blackouts, and costly rates, and pinpointed some certain electric cooperatives. First and foremost, Mr. Speaker, let me be clear that electric cooperatives are not faultless. And as far as I am concerned, nagkakamali naman po sila. But there are always room for improvement and reform needed in terms of the concern above mentioned. Brownouts are not always to be pointed to the electric cooperatives because it can be a supply problem or a transmission problem. Rates cannot be pointed out to the electric cooperatives because the ERC or the Energy Regulatory Commission can validate. They can provide informations that all electric cooperatives did not increase their rates since 2009. And this is the distribution, supply, and metering charge. Because that is the only rate charged by the electric cooperatives. What is always increasing is the generation component, which is not a charge of electric cooperatives. They are just mere collectors of that, like the taxes of the government. However, Mr. Speaker, this issues has been circulating in the media. So, and these media outlets are not coordinating with the electric cooperatives or other concerned government agencies like the ERC in order to shed light on what is really happening. To render electric cooperatives voiceless and seemingly worthless in the eyes of these people, and the tirades being thrown to the electric cooperatives would be a disservice to the vision put forth by the former president who envisioned, who created these electric cooperatives through Presidential Decree 269. The former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr., the father of our current president, which was further strengthened by Republic Act 10531. Bakit po ginawa to ng naunang Pangulong Marcos? Nung tayo po ay nakabalot pa sa dilim dahil ang mga mamumuhunan are just servicing the highly urbanized centers because of profit. Nandito lang sila sa Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, Metro Davao at iba pang mga malalaking syudad. Dahil hindi po sila kikita doon sa mga far-flung and unviable areas. Kaya naisip po ng dating Pangulong Marcos na magkaroon ng mga electric cooperatives kasi kawawa naman po yung ating mga kababayan na nakatira doon sa mga lugar na yon. At that area comprise 97% of the entire country. Before the advent of electric cooperative under PD 269, 3% lang po ng kabuuan ng Pilipinas ang may ilaw. So, napakasakit po na pakinggan at mabasa sa mga pahayagang ito na sinisisi at sinisisi. Yung mga area, yung mga government officials na naninisi ay yung mga government officials na ipinanganak na may ilaw na yung mga lugar na yon. Dahil yung mga magulang nila ay alam na walang ilaw yung mga lugar nila noon. Nagkaroon lang ng ilaw nung ipinanganak sila because of electric cooperatives, kahit malayo na yung mga lugar nila. Kaya't minabuti ng ating gobyerno na buuin ang mga electric cooperatives. Hindi upang kumita. That's why very clear. PD 269 is very clear. Electric cooperatives are non-stock, non-profit. Kaya the rates being approved by the Energy Regulatory Commission to electric cooperatives are cash-based rate, not PBR or return on rate base. Dahil wala pong kita dapat, kasi yan po ang batas. Only the cost of service. Kaya ako ay tumindig sa kongresong ito upang ipaliwanag. Natanungin niyo po at i-validate bago niyo isulat yung inyong mga impormasyon. Kasi may mga nasasaktan po. Until now, after more than 5 decades or 50 years, inuutosan pa rin ng ating pamahalaan ang mga electric cooperatives na pailawan kahit yung mga kasulok-sulukan. Now, if these people are favoring some private distribution utility for their own interest, that is their right. However, wag naman po nila sanang gawin yon na mayroon silang aapakan. Mag-imbestiga muna sila what causes brownouts, what causes high electricity rates, at kung ano-ano pa. Kung mismanagement ang pag-uusapan, Mr. Speaker, ay di kasuhan nila yung may mga electric cooperative na mismanage at may mga kasalanan. But do not put into bad lights the majority of the electric cooperatives. Kasi iilan lang naman po yan kung mayroon man. Napakasaklap, at kung ang mga electric cooperatives ay hindi na magpapailaw sa mga kanayunan, sino na ngayon ang uutosan ng ating pamahalaan? Kung mga private distribution utilities na ang magsiserve, ang kanila namang kinukuha ay yung mga viable areas. Pinipili lang naman nila. They are cherry picking. And this House is aware of that. There are private distribution utilities who are applying franchise within the area coverage of existing electric cooperative. But the areas they are applying are the viable areas. They are cherry picking. Yung mga lugar na ngayon ay marami ng negosyo, well-developed economically, which is noon wala yung mga negosyo na yan dahil walang ilaw. Ngayon, na nagkailaw, nagkaroon ng maraming negosyo, pinipili nila na kunin. But hindi nila isinasama yung mga unviable, unparplang areas. Kasi alam nila na hindi sila kikita. That is the right, Mr. Speaker. Admittedly, that is the right. Pero gagawin nila yon na hindi nila sisiraan yung mga electric cooperatives. Dahil itong mga electric cooperatives ang nag-umpisang magtanim ng economic development sa mga area na yan. Kaya nagkaganyan. Where were they when these areas are in darkness? Bakit nandito lang sila sa Maynila? Bakit nasa Metro Cebu lang sila? Metro Davao, Cagayan de Oro at ibang malalaking siyudad? Bakit hindi nila inaplayan yan noon? Nung wala pang mga ilaw, yung mga lugar na yan, yung mga barangay na yan. Pagkatapos sasabihin na mas magaling sila. Kung mas magaling sila, hindi kami nakikipagkompetensya. Kung mas magaling sila, ang itanong ko lang, bakit hindi nila isinama itong mga lugar na to nung madilim pa to? At bakit ngayon lang nila ina-applyan nung may mga linya na at gusto lang nilang i-take over? Kaya, Mr. Speaker, let it be known that I have my full trust and support to NIA. Pero wag lang silang magtuturo. Ayaw kong magpasikat yung mga taga-NIA at the expense of good performing electric cooperatives. Wag niyang lahatin. Pag sinabi niyang ship up or ship out, he needs to mention sino yung sinasabihan niyang ship up or ship out. Not sweeping statement. Kasi masakit po yon sa mga tao na nagtatrabaho ng husto. Mr. Speaker, I stand before this chamber as a concerned representative of the people. I call on my colleagues representing the very people who will be affected by this to rally behind in solidarity the electric cooperatives in your respective areas, lalong-lalo na kung maganda naman yung pamamalakad ng mga electric cooperatives sa inyong area. Pero kung hindi naman maganda yung pamamalakad nila, kasuhan ninyo yung mga nagmamanage sa mga electric co-op na yan. Tutulungan ko pa kayo na makasuhan yan. Pero kung maganda naman, we need to really behind in order to bolster efficiency and productivity and support the vision of the rural electrification program envisioned by the father of our president. Not to seek profit, but for service. Lastly, Mr. Speaker, I would like to reiterate that electric cooperatives should not be blamed for all this problem, like spikes in electricity rates, because the one who caused the spike in electricity rate is the fuel of our power plants. And electric cooperatives are just mere collectors of this. What the electric cooperatives are charging are only distribution, supply, and metering charge, which only accounts for 18% or measly 18 centavos in every piso that we are collecting. And the rest, we are only mere collectors of that. 65% of that will go to the power plant. So I hope na maliwanagan yung mga sumusulat ng mga article. I don't know who are the persons behind them, who are the parties behind them. Gusto kong maliwanagan. I challenge you. If you are really good, come to the parplang areas, especially in Mindanao, na mababa pa yung rate of energization. Puntahan ninyo para makita ninyo, para makita ko personally na kayo ay mas magaling kaysa mga electric cooperatives. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move to refer the speech of Representative Seriusi Dagook to the Committee on Rules for Appropriate Action.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move to recognize Representative Erwin T. Tulfo from the Party List Act CIS to avail of the privilege hour.
The gentleman from ACT-CIS Party List, the Honorable Representative Erwin Tulfo, is hereby recognized for his to avail of the privilege hour.
Mr. Speaker, Majority Floor Leader, good afternoon. I'll be short. Just want to stand up to talk about a road rage incident in Quezon City that had gone viral involving an armed ex-cop and an ordinary cyclist. Though the road rage driver surrendered to authorities later, no criminal charges were filed against this abusive former policeman because the victim did not pursue filing a case in court, Mr. Speaker. Reports said the suspect and the victim reached an agreement or settlement at the police station, and perhaps the poor cyclist was also concerned for his personal safety and security, that of his family if he filed charges against the ex-cop. Ginoong Speaker, ito po ang dahilan kung bakit ako po at ang aking mga kasamahan sa ACT-CIS Party List ay maghahain ng panukalang batas na ituloy ang pagsasampa ng kasong kriminal laban po sa mga road rage drivers o suspect kahit pa umatras na ang kanilang mga biktima. Minsan po kasi, Ginoong Speaker, natatakot na magsampa ng kaso ang mga biktima na kadalasan ay mga ordinaryong tao. Lalo na't kapag nalaman nila na maimpluwensya o makapangyarihan o armado ang umagrabyado sa kanila. Idagdag mo pa riyan, Mr. Speaker, ang mga pahayag ng mga otoridad na tila kumakampi pa sa suspect, tulad nitong mga pahayag ng dating hepe ng Quezon City Police District, kasi naman pala dating kabaro nila ang naghuramentado na driver. Pero kadalasan, Ginoong Speaker at mga kasamahan ko sa Kongreso, ay hindi na rin interesado ang mga biktima dahil po nagkaroon na nga ng settlement o aregluhan sa presinto pa lang tulad na nangyari nga dito sa siklista at dating pulis. Mr. Speaker, we have to put an end on this culture of impunity wherein the powerful and the influentials go scot-free in this country. We must never allow armed bullies to terrorize the weak and the helpless in our four corners of this nation, where they be rebels, terrorists, and worse, people in authority. At pag ganito po na ganito lagi ang senaryo, paulit-ulit po ang road rage incidents sa ating bayan. Dahil iisipin ng mga salot sa lipunan, idadaan na lamang lagi sa areglo at paghingi ng paumanhin sa kanilang mga nabiktima kapag nabidyohan na o nag-viral ang kanilang video. No more, Mr. Speaker, enough is enough. Road rage drivers should be held responsible for the anxiety, trauma, or fear he may have caused on his victim or victims and disturbance of peace and traffic in the place of incident, even if nobody was hurt or loss of life. Mr. Speaker, the government should take care or take over in filing criminal cases against these menaces in our society, even if their victims show no more interest in attaining justice. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Madam Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, move to refer the speech of Representative Erwin T. Tulfo to the Committee on
Is there any
Rules for
objection?
Appropriate Action.
Hearing none, motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move to recognize Representative Gabriel H. Bordado Jr. from the 3rd District of Camarines Sur for his privileged speech.
The gentleman from the 3rd District of Camarines Sur is hereby recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me congratulate the Gilas Pilipinas for shattering and smoldering, figuratively of course, the Great Wall of China in the current FIBA, or Federation International de Basketball World Cup. Although it was our only victory after a seemingly never-ending series of defeats, Mr. Speaker, it was nonetheless a very sweet one because it was a victory over a nation which has been harassing us and bullying us insofar as the West Philippine Sea issue is concerned. Mr. Speaker, time and again, we gather within these hallowed walls to exalt the extraordinary feats of our national athletes. As we stand united in applause, we bask in the radiance of their well-earned triumphs and the medals they bring home from distant arenas. Our athletes, paragons of determination and talent, etch our nation's spirit onto the global canvas. Yet today, Mr. Speaker, the victory of the Philippines over China notwithstanding, my heart weighs heavy as I address you, for shadows loom over these celebrated victories. As we raise our voices in jubilation, we must also raise our voices in concern. Grave issues have crept into our national sports development program, issues that have left our athletes bereft of the support they so rightfully deserve. Mr. Speaker, the historic victories achieved by our athletes in the Tokyo Olympics in 2020 were not solely due to the administration's efforts. Rather, they were the results of the athletes' dedication and hard work, even in the face of inadequate government support. As we celebrate these accomplishments, we must also acknowledge the systemic issues that continue to plague our sports sector. The narratives of our athletes like Hidilyn Diaz, Edwin Villanueva, Adrian Azul, Iomer Marcial, Iris Magno, Alex Iyala, Wesley So, EJ Obiena, and Michael Martinez, among others, have exposed the harsh truth of the inadequate support they receive from the government. These stories reveal a common thread: a lack of financial backing, inconsistent allowances, and even malicious attacks on those who dare to voice their concerns. Mr. Speaker, the government's promises of funding and assistance have often remained unfulfilled. Our athletes have been left to fend for themselves, struggling to secure the resources they need to compete on a global stage. The stories of these athletes lay bare the failure of the Philippine Sports Commission to provide the necessary financial support for training, lodging, travel, and nutrition. Instead of empowering our athletes, the government has forced them into a competition for very limited resources. Moreover, Mr. Speaker, our athletes have been forced to rely on the private sector for support, demonstrating a glaring gap in government intervention. While the success of some athletes in securing sponsorships showcases their resilience, it is fundamentally the government's responsibility to ensure their welfare. The private sector sponsorship should be complementary, not a substitute for adequate government funding. Mr. Speaker, the Philippine Sports Commission, the key governmental institution tasked with nurturing our athletes' potential, has, since its inception, been beset by controversy, betraying the very ideals it was instituted to uphold. In truth, the potential of our athletes is unparalleled, an untamed force that begs for release. But their potential is shackled by the chains of insufficient support. Take, for instance, the 6 billion pesos allotment for the 2019 Southeast Asian Games, primarily diverted into various business interests, an exemplar of distorted priorities. If our government can allocate generous resources for commerce, then it is our duty to demand equal generosity for the athletes who bear our national pride. Yet, alas, Mr. Speaker, the cycle of disregard and underinvestment persists. Scrutinizing the PSC's budget from 2013 to 2023 reveals a disheartening pattern. Consider this, Mr. Speaker. In 2015, the PSC received a meager 800 million pesos, a fraction of the investments neighboring nations inject into their sports development endeavors. Thailand apportioned 14.37 billion pesos for sports in 2011, while Singapore committed 8 billion pesos for the same purpose. Over the past decade, Mr. Speaker, the PSC has averaged approximately 180 million annually from the national coffers, a sharp contrast to the colossal funding required to propel our athletes towards greatness. Mr. Speaker, Republic Act 6847 stipulates that 80% of the budget should nurture the national sports program, with the remaining 20% reserved for the Commission's operational needs. Nevertheless, the 2022 Commission on Audit Executive Summary Report exposes unsettling irregularities and inconsistencies, implying that entrusted officials have fallen short of their obligation. Furthermore, Mr. Speaker, a lamentable exodus of talents from our sports sector is unfolding before us. Our skilled trainers, coaches, and athletes seek opportunities overseas due to inadequate support and meager compensation here. Nations endowed with greater wealth entice our talent with better recompense and prospects, deepening the challenges that our athletes confront. On the other hand, Mr. Speaker, we cannot forever rely on naturalized citizens to strengthen our various national teams, particularly in basketball and soccer. As one expert puts it, and I quote, "We can sign an import like most of the national teams, and maybe we are going to score more threes, but I don't believe this is correct. This must be stopped as soon as possible. Otherwise, in some years, there will be no more local product," unquote. Mr. Speaker, Pilipinas ang unang gumamit ng mga naturalized citizens bilang mga manlalaro. Gumaya na lang ang ibang mga bansa sa Asia. Sa Southeast Asian Games, sa taong ito, Mr. Speaker, tinalo ng Cambodia ang Gilas Pilipinas dahil mas marami silang naturalized citizens sa kanilang kupunan. Mr. Speaker, we can no longer avert our gaze from this crisis. As representatives of the people, it is incumbent upon us to confront these issues head-on. The moment has come to re-examine and revise Republic Act number 6847, the very statute that birthed the Philippine Sports Commission. This pivotal step is indispensable to harmonize our sports development programs with the aspirations and needs of our contemporary Filipino athletes. Mr. Speaker, let us commit ourselves to a future wherein our athletes train unhindered, compete on equitable terrain, and return home with victories that authentically mirror their potential. By rectifying the systemic flaws in our sports framework, we secure an environment where our athletes receive the backing required to attain their zenith and hoist our nation's flag ever higher. Mr. Speaker, I extend my gratitude to you for lending your ear to this cause. Let us stand as a unified force, advocating for the welfare of our athletes and heralding an era infused with equity, transparency, and triumph in Philippine sports. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, may we move to recognize Representative Franz Pomaran for his interpellation.
The Honorable Franz Pomaran is hereby recognized for his interpellation or manifestation.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. It is more of a manifestation. It is more of a manifestation, Mr. Speaker. As we all know, I came from the sports also. And I would just like to commend the speech of our Honorable Gabi Bordado because this year we will be reviewing the budget of the PSC. I think it's high time that we correct it. And in terms of the naturalized players, I think for the record, I was part of the last team that won the FIBA Asia. And we were the first one in Asia to acquire naturalized players. And what's so timely, our batch, we will be having our reunion, the first naturalized players, they're all here to celebrate. We have one of the coaches of the US team, Chip Engeland, and one of the naturalized players in Jeff Moore. Again, I strongly agree with the speaker that we review our program, that we should have a short-term and a long-term program. I think in every sport, I think we should have a project director for them to oversee the program. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you very much, my idol. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, before we proceed, we move to extend the privilege hour.
There is a motion to extend the privilege hour. Is there any objection? Chair hears none. The motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we move to refer the speech of Representative Gabriel H. Bordado as well as the manifestation of Representative Franz Pomaran to the Committee on Rules for appropriate action.
Is there any objection for the referral of the speech? Hearing none, motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize the distinguished representative from the Kabataan Party List, Representative Raul Daniel Manuel, to deliver his privilege speech.
The gentleman from Kabataan Party List, the Honorable Representative Raul Manuel, is recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise on a matter of personal and collective privilege to talk about some fangs of state terrorism. In particular, Mr. Speaker, ito ay tungkol sa papalaking bilang ng mga kaso ng kabataang dinukot sa ilalim ng kasalukuyang administrasyon. Sa nakaraang mga taon, naging usap-usapan ang panganib ng terorismo sa ating mga kababayan. Bukang bibig ng nagdaang administrasyon na dapat sugpuin ang problema na ito at iligtas ang mga kabataan mula rito. Naging tuntungan ito para sa paglunsad ng madudugong kampanyang kontra-insurhensya na pinangungunahan ng Notorious Task Force LCAC at para sa pagsasabatas ng terror law sa kabila ng malawak na pagtutol ng ordinaryong mamamayan sa gitna ng pandemya. Pero ang tanong, mas ligtas nga ba talaga ang mga kabataan ngayon dahil sa mga patakarang ito? Are we really safer? Kaugnay nito, Mr. Speaker, ibabahagi ko rito sa Kongreso ang isang nakababahalang ulat na natanggap ng aming opisina. Noong isang gabi, may isang Facebook page na nag-post pasado alas 8. Ang sabi sa post, and I quote, "Awareness po sa lahat. May kidnap po ngayon sa harap ng Oriwad Lati. 2 dalagang babae. Please po, wag nang lumabas." End of quote. May isa pang post mula naman sa isang concerned citizen. Ang sabi sa kanyang post, and I quote, "Mga ka-Orayon, baka isa sa mga anak niyong dalaga yung kinidnap ngayon lang sa Barangay Lati, Orayon, Bataan, sa may Oriwad. Pilit daw sinakay sa kotse." End of quote. Nakarating ang post sa ating mga kababayan at sobrang naalarma sila. Napag-alaman na ang nawawala pala ay 2 kabataang kababaihan, sina Jed Tamano, 22 years old, at Jonila Castro, 21 years old. Nangyari ang pagdukot sa harap ng opisina ng Orayon Water District, Barangay Lati, Orayon, Bataan. Ayon sa ulat, pwersahan silang kinuha ng 4 na armadong lalaki na may suot na mask at isinakay sila sa gray SUV. Makakatulong sana sa pag-alam sa konkretong pangyayari ang CCTV camera ng Barangay Oriwad Lati. Ngunit napag-alamang sira daw at hindi gumagana ang nasasabing CCTV camera. May natunton na eyewitness na nakakita raw ng pagdukot. At ilang oras makalipas ang pangyayari, nakita sa mismong lugar ang nasabing meron daw isang pares ng tsinelas at isang piraso ng sandals. Natukoy na pag-aari ni Jed at Jonila ang tsinelas at ang sandals. Sinikap silang hanapin ng mga kasamahan nila sa mga karatig barangay at lumapit na rin ang mga kasamahan nila sa simbahan para magpatulong. Pero hindi pa rin sila mahanap. Bago ang malagim na insidenteng ito, may mga ulat na rin ng surveillance na isinasagawa sa 2. Ang huling text na nagawa nila ay noong isang gabi pa sa isang kaibigan. Ano ba ang ginagawa ni Jed at Jonila bilang mga kabataan? Mr. Speaker, si Jed ay program coordinator ng Church and Community Partnership Project na Turn the Tide, habang si Jonila ay community volunteer ng AKAP Manila Bay, isang advocacy network ng mga mangingisda kasama ang kabataan, taong simbahan at iba pang grupo na nais ipagtanggol ang mga komunidad na naapektuhan ng Manila Bay Reclamation. Nag-iikot sina Jed at Jonila bilang volunteers sa mga pamayanan sa coastal areas ng Bulacan at Bataan para aralin at siyasatin ang kalagayan ng reclamation-affected communities. Sina Jed at Jonila ay dating mga estudyante ng Bulacan State University. Si Jed ay Business Economics graduate, habang si Jonila pala, ay psychology major. Sila ay mga huwarang iskolar ng bayan na ginamit ang kanilang talino at talento para pagsilbihan ang mga maralitang komunidad. Pero ngayon, bigla na lang silang dinukot. Hindi po ito ang una at huling insidente ng pagdukot sa mga kabataang nagmamahal sa kapwa at sa bayan. Dumarami ang bilang ng mga dinukot na kapwa Pilipinong nagsisilbi at nag-organisa lamang sa mga komunidad. Pare-pareho po ang naratibo. Dahil sa kanilang advokasya, may makakabangga sila ng mga nasa kapangyarihan. Tatakutin sila, mamanmanan, bubuntutan, pagbibintangan bilang terorista. Hanggang sa dudukutin bigla at maaaring hindi na muling ilitaw. Ang nasa likod nito, marami na ring mga lumalabas na mga witnesses o mga reports na ang nasa likod ay walang iba kundi mga pulis, militar, at iba pang ahente ng Estado. Kapag lumagpas sa 72 hours o 3 araw na hindi napapalitaw ang mga dinukot at nawawala, tinuturing ng desaparecidos ang mga biktima. Umusbong ang katawagang desaparecidos mula sa taktika na madalas gamitin ng mga diktador noong 1970s tulad ni na Augusto Pinochet, Suharto, Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Sa ilalim ng kanilang mga rehimen, presahang dinukot at hindi na pinalitaw muli ang mga tinarget na kumukwestiyon sa kanilang mga mapaniil at pahirap na patakaran. Ngayon po, Mr. Speaker, nasa tunguhin ang pamilyang nasa Malacanang na linisin ang kanilang reputasyon. At habang ginagawa nila yan, nagaganap pa rin at nagpapatuloy pa nga sa ilalim ng Marcos Jr. Administration ang pinakamasahol at tiranikong mga hakbang tulad ng pagdukot at pagiging desaparecidos ng ating mga kababayan. Sa loob ng more than 1 year ng administrasyong ito, meron na pong hindi bababa sa 15 o 15 katao na kumpirmadong dinukot. Bahagi po nito ay 10 natatalang desaparecidos. Bago po natin pangalanan kung sino yung 10, 3 doon sa 15, fortunately ay nilitaw dahil sa pangangalampag ng mamamayan sa ating administrasyon. Yung 3 po ay sina Stephen Tauli sa Kalinga, ang magkasintahan na kapwa-kabataan na sina Armand Dayoha at Dayan Gumanaw sa Cebu. Si Dayan Gumanaw pa nga ay nakasama natin bilang panauhin sa nakaraang SONA. Isa sila sa mga buhay na patunay ng realidad ng enforced disappearances at abduction sa ating bansa. Ngunit, as I said, meron pang mga hindi nalilitaw o hindi pa napapalitaw. Kasama rito ang mga dineklarang desaparecido na nasa ating screen. Sina Elgin Mongcal, 51 years old sa Tarlac. Maria Elena Pampoza, 52 years old sa Tarlac. Ariel Badiang, 64 years old sa Bukidnon. Renel de los Santos, 21 years old sa Negros Occidental. Donald Maylen, 19 years old, Negros Occidental. Lynn Grace Martolinas, 28 years old, Negros Occidental. Dexter Capuyan, 56 years old, Rizal. Jean Rose Bazu de Jesus, 27 years old, nawala din sa Rizal. Aurelie Havana, 23 years old, nawala sa Surigao del Norte. Jennifer Binungkasan, 19 years old, Surigao del Norte. At wala man sa pictures dahil sila, yung dalawang nabanggit natin, pinakahuling biktima ng abduction, sina Jed at Jonila ng Bataan. Sa lahat po ng mga napangalanan natin, Mr. Speaker, sa 12 names ng mga nawawala pa rin, 8 doon, again, 8 out of 12, mga kapwa kabataan. Liban sa mga dinukot at mga desaparecidos, nakakabahala rin po na ginagamit ang terror law para bansagan ang mga kapwa kabataan bilang terorista at gawin silang vulnerable sa iba pang forma ng mga paglabag sa kanilang karapatan bilang tao. Kamakailan lang, pinagbintangan ng 59th Infantry Battalion ng Philippine Army bilang terorista si John Peter Angelo Garcia o mas kilala sa palayaw na JPEG. Si JPEG ay mula sa UP Los Baños at siya ang kasalukuyang UP System Student Regent 3rd nominee. Dagdag pa, tatlong leader kabataan sa Southern Tagalog ang sinampahan ng gawa-gawang complaint sa bisa ng terror law. Sina Jasmine Rubia, Kenneth Rementilla at Hailey Picayo. Tinuring sila ng militar bilang mga terorista dahil lamang sa pag-imbestiga nila sa extrajudicial killing ng AFP sa isang bata sa Batangas. Kaya, muli, Mr. Speaker, ang ating tanong, mas ligtas ba ang mga kabataan ngayon? Malinaw ang sagot, hindi po. Mga kapwa ko Pilipino, ito ang pinakamasahol na anyo ng terorismo. Ang lagim na mula mismo sa gobyerno na dapat naglilingkod at nagpoprotekta sa atin. Lumalabas na ang mga pangil ng terorismo ng Estado. Hinihimok natin ang ating mga kasamahan sa gobyerno na ipagtanggol ang mga kabataang nagpasyang maglingkod at makipamuhay sa mga maralita at inaapi. Pinaninindigan po nila ang pagiging pag-asa ng bayan. Sila ay mabubuting mga anak, mabubuting mga kapatid, mabubuting kamag-aral, at mabubuting kaibigan. Panawagan natin, Mr. Speaker, ilitaw si Jed at Jonila. Ilitaw ang lahat ng mga dinukot at mga desaparecidos. Yun lamang, Mr. Speaker. Maraming salamat.
Just a clarification from the chair before we proceed. Any member can avail of the privilege hour by writing or by informing the Committee on Rules, and that is within the allocation of the privilege hour, which is extendable, which can be extended. Well, for those who wants to rise on a question of personal or collective privilege, that is actually a different time limit, which is actually, we usually allocate 10 minutes. Majority Leader, you may proceed.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the privileged speech of Representative Manuel to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we recognize this distinguished lady, a representative of the Party List ACT Teachers, Congresswoman Franz L. Castro, to deliver her privileged speech.
The lady from ACT Teachers Party List, Representative Franz Castro, is recognized to avail of the privilege hour.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Majority Leader, Floor Leader. Magandang hapon, Ginoong Speaker, sa mga kapwa ko kinatawan at sa ating mga kababayan. Bukas, 5 ng Setyembre, ay ang pagsisimula ng isang buwan na selebrasyon at pagunita para sa mga guro o ang tinatawag nating National Teachers Month na magtatagal hanggang 5 ng Oktubre, kung saan itinakda naman ito bilang pandaigdigang araw ng mga guro o World Teachers Day. Tinakda rin itong National Teachers Day ng Republic Act 10753, isang batas na tayo ang main proponent. Itong buong buwan at araw ng mga guro ay araw ng pagpapahalaga, pagprotekta at pagpapagarantiya sa mga karapatan, benepisyo at kapakanan ng ating mga guro. Bilang kinatawan ng mga guro at ng buong sektor ng edukasyon, malugod ko pong binabati ang lahat ng kapwa ko guro ng isang palaban at makabuluhang National Teachers Month. Sa panahon ngayon, napakahalaga na ipagdiwang at bigyang halaga natin ang National Teachers Month, kasabay ng pagbibigay halaga natin sa bawat gurong humahalili sa atin bilang mga magulang ng ating mga anak sa mga eskwelahan. Ito ay isang pagkakataon para kilalanin at paghandaan ang mga isyung kinakaharap ng mga guro sa Pilipinas. Ang mga guro ay mga bayani sa ating lipunan. Sila ang nagtataguyod ng kaalaman at nagpapaunlad sa ating kabataan. Ngunit sa kabila ng kanilang mahalagang papel, marami silang mga suliranin na kinakaharap sa kasalukuyan. Isa sa mga pangunahing issue na dapat nating bigyang pansin ay ang kawalan ng nakabubuhay na sweldo para sa kanila. Sa gitna ng patuloy na pagtaas ng presyo ng mga bilihin at mga epekto ng nagdaang pandemya, napakahirap para sa kanila na maabot ang kanilang mga pangangailangan. Kailangan nila ng tamang suporta mula sa gobyerno at kagawaran ng edukasyon upang matugunan ang kanilang mga pangunahing mga pangangailangan. Dagdag pa rito, Ginoong Speaker, kailangan din nating tugunan ang mga issue ng malalaking class sizes, mga kakulangan sa pasilidad sa mga paaralan, at iba pa. Ang mga guro ay nagsasagawa ng kanilang tungkulin sa gitna ng siksikan, mainit at hindi sapat na pasilidad. Kailangan nating maglaan ng sapat na pondo upang mapabuti ang mga pasilidad sa mga paaralan at mapababa ang bilang ng mga estudyante sa bawat klase. Sa mga hamong ito, mahalagang matugunan ng gobyerno at suportahan ang mga guro. Kailangan natin bigyan sila ng tamang pasahod at benepisyo upang mapanatili ang kalidad ng edukasyon sa ating bansa. Ito ay hindi lamang tungkol sa mga guro, kundi tungkol sa kinabukasan ng mga kabataan sa ating bansa. Sa pagdiriwang na National Teachers Month, ating bigyang halaga at kilalanin ang mga guro bilang mga dakilang bayani. Ipagpatuloy natin ang pagkilala at pagsuporta sa kanila sa abot ng ating makakaya. Maraming salamat po at mabuhay ang ating mga guro.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we refer the privileged speech of Representative Castro to the Committee on Rules for its appropriate action.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, there be no other members who wish to avail of the privilege hour. I move that we close the privilege hour.
There is a motion to close the privilege hour. Is there any objection? Hearing none, the privilege hour is hereby terminated.
Mr. Speaker, I move for a few minutes suspension, Mr. Speaker.
There is a motion to suspend. Session is suspended.
Uwi na kayo, nakakuta na kami. Ha?
Yung hindi ano.
Sige, sige. Lapit kita mamaya. Session is resumed. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we proceed with reference of business, and for this purpose, may we request the Secretary General to read the titles of the bills and resolutions on first reading, including committee reports and other communications, Mr. Speaker.
Is there any objection? The chair hears none. The Secretary General is directed to read the titles of bills and resolutions on first reading, as well as communications, messages, and committee reports for referral to the appropriate committees.
Reference to business. Bills on first reading. House Bill 8978 to strengthen, modernize, and professionalize the agricultural services of the LGUs by Representative Tambunting.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 8979 reorganizing the Land Registration Authority by Representative Tambunting.
To the Committee on Government Reorganization and the Committee on Justice.
House Bill 8980, an act appropriating funds for the operation of the government of the Republic of the Philippines from January 1 to December 31, 2024, by Representatives Co. Elizalde, Romualdez Ferdinand Martin, Dalipe, Marcos, Kimbo, and other members.
To the Committee on Government Reorganization and the Committee on Justice.
Appropriations, sir.
Appropriation.
Appropriations. Budget, sir.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
House Bill 8981, increasing the discount rate and exempting from the value-added tax the monthly electric and water consumption granted to senior citizens by Representative Tambunting.
To the Committee on Senior Citizens.
House Bill 8982, institutionalizing the establishment of women and children protection units in all government hospitals by Representative Tambunting.
To the Committee on Health.
House Bill 8983, naming the road commencing in Barangay San Juan at Ormoc National Road, traversing Barangay San Juan, Lao, and Naungan, and adjoining the Barangay Naungan Cadastral Coastal Road as the Dominador Gomez Diversion Road by Representative Gomez.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 8984, naming the road commencing in Barangay Cogon, Ormoc City, at Junction Ormoc Carigara, Palo, National Road, traversing certain barangays as the Vicente G. Torres Avenue by Representative Gomez.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 8985, establishing halfway houses for the women and children's victims of domestic violence by Representative Duterte.
To the Committee on Women and Gender Equality.
House Bill 8986, establishing halfway houses for the abused women and children and rape victims by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Women and Gender Equality.
House Bill 8987, punishing the willful failure to pay paternal child support by Representatives Tulfo Erwin, Yap Edvic, Tulfo Jocelyn, Yap Eric, and Tulfo Ralph Wendell.
To the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill 8988, to establish the Comprehensive Flood Mapping and Resilience Program by Representative Lacson.
To the Committee on Disaster Resilience.
House Bill 8989, providing financial literacy and entrepreneurship programs for workers by Representative Marcos.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
House Bill 8990, amending the National Commission of Senior Citizens Act by Representative Aquino Magsaysay.
To the Committee on Senior Citizens.
House Bill 8991, penalizing acts of road rage and for other purposes by Representatives Tulfo Erwin, Yap Edvic, Tulfo Jocelyn, Yap Eric, and Tulfo Ralph Wendell.
To the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 8992, declaring June 9 of every year a special non-working holiday in Siniluan, Laguna, in celebration of the feast of its patron saints, St. Peter and St. Paul, by Representatives Agarao and Tevez.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 8993, declaring the last Friday of August of every year a special non-working holiday in Siniluan, Laguna, in celebration of its Gilingan Festival, by Representatives Agarao and Tevez.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 8994, providing for stronger protection against rape and sexual exploitation and abuse, by Representative Cuba.
To the Committee on Revision of Laws and the Committee on Welfare of Children.
House Bill 8995, amending the Anti-Violence Against Women and Their Children Act of 2004, by Representative Cuba.
To the Committee on Women and Gender Equality.
House Bill 8996, upgrading, creating additional positions in the Office of the Government Corporate Counsel, by Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Justice.
House Bill 8997, creating a sustainable fiscal framework for the pension system of the military and uniformed personnel, by Representative Gonzalez.
To the Ad Hoc Committee on Military and Uniformed Personnel MUP Pension System.
House Bill 8998, establishing the national framework for water resource management, and creating the Department of Water Resources and the Water Regulatory Commission by Representative Gonzalez.
To the Committee on Government Reorganization and the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 8999, regulating the production, importation, sale, distribution, provision, use, recovery, collection, recycling, and disposal of single-use plastic products by Representative Gonzalez.
To the Committee on Ecology.
House Bill 9000, regulating the use of bicycles as an alternative mode of transportation by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Sustainable Development Goals and the Committee on Transportation.
House Bill 9001, digitizing all books necessary for primary and secondary public education and establishing the Philippine Online Library by Representative Vargas.
To the Committee on Basic Education and Culture.
House Bill 9002, granting Exodus Broadcasting Company Incorporated a franchise to construct, install, establish, operate, and maintain radio and television broadcasting stations in the Philippines for a term of 25 years by Representative Delmar.
To the Committee on Legislative Franchises.
House Bill 9003, making the appointment of an Environment and Natural Resources Office mandatory in all provinces, cities, and municipalities by Representative Yap Eric.
To the Committee on Local Government.
House Bill 9004, amending Section 2, Article 11 of the Organic Law for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao for the purpose of extending the availment period of waiver requirements of the NAPOLCOM to facilitate the entry of MILF and MNLF members in the PNP by Representative Dimaporo Mohammed Khalid.
To the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
House Bill 9005, declaring the Nuestra Señora de Salvacion Church in Aputyokan, Lawang, Northern Samar a pilgrimage site and a tourist destination by Representative Ong Chuan.
To the Committee on Tourism.
House Bill numbers 9006 and 9007, declaring Onay Beach and Pinipisakan Falls in the municipalities of Lawang and Las Navas, all in the province of Northern Samar, as tourist destinations by Representative Ong Chuan.
To the Committee on Tourism.
House Bill 9008, converting the road stretching from San Antonio, Cagpanitan, Mondragon, and Silvino Lobos, all in the province of Northern Samar, into a national road by Representative Ong Chuan.
To the Committee on Public Works and Highways.
House Bill 9009, providing for the establishment of barangay drugstores, otherwise known as the Butika ng Barangay, by Representative Teves.
To the Committee on Health.
Resolutions. House Resolution 1229, congratulating and commending Cagayan de Oro Taekwondo Main Gym Team, Oro Gyms, for winning a total of 33 medals in the 8th Daejeon MDC Camp International Open Taekwondo Championships held at Tayan General Indoor Gymnasium in Tayan City, Korea from August 11 to 16, 2023 by Representative Suwan.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 1230, increasing the medical expense allowance of senior citizen persons deprived of liberty by Representative Aquino Magsaysay.
To the Committee on Justice and the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
House Resolution 1231, resolution directing the Committee on Justice and Public Order and Safety to conduct an inquiry on the recent gun-toting incidents of individuals in government against two-wheeled rider by Representatives Busita and Gutierrez.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1232, urging the Committee on Agriculture and Food to conduct an investigation on the rising prices of rice and continued importation amid global rice crisis by Representatives Brosas, Castro France, and Manuel.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1233, expressing profound congratulations and commendation to Filipino youth athlete Fiere Afan for winning the 2023 World Grappling Championship in Warsaw, Poland, held on August 22, 2023 by Representative Fortes.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 1234, expressing the profound sympathy and sincere condolences of the House of Representatives on the untimely demise of the Honorable Maria Susana Toots Vasquez Ople, Secretary of the Department of Migrant Workers, and champion of the rights and welfare of overseas Filipino workers by Representative Mendoza.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1235, expressing profound condolences of the House on the demise of Miguel Mike Castro Enriquez by Representative Olivares.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1236, to honor and commemorate the saddened demise and legacy of Secretary Maria Susan Toots V. Ople, champion and advocate for the rights of migrant workers by Representative Robes.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1237, urging the national government through the Office of the Presidential Advisor on Peace, Reconciliation, and Unity to provide to the appropriate committee a report on Proclamation Number 1090 and submit to Congress its position as to whether another presidential proclamation granting amnesty is required for the fulfillment of the Comprehensive Agreement on the Bangsamoro by Representative Dimaporo Muhammad Khalid.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1238, urging the Committees on Human Rights and the Welfare of Children to immediately conduct an investigation on the spate of killings and violence committed by police officers against minors by Representatives Brosas, Castro-France, and Manuel.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1239, urging the House to conduct an investigation into the usage of a single private network and its implications on the automated electoral system used in the 2022 elections by Representatives Manuel Brosas and Castro-France.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1240, honoring the life and legacy of veteran broadcast journalist Mike Enriquez and expressing profound sympathies and sincerest condolences of the House over his passing by Representatives Mercado Revilla, Revilla Bryan, and Revilla Ramon Jolo.
To the Committee on Rules.
House Resolution 1241, congratulating and commending Mr. Joven Sagabain as the first homegrown Filipino to qualify and compete in the prestigious international bodybuilding competition, Mr. Olympia, by Representatives Revilla Ramon Jolo, Mercado Revilla, and Revilla Bryan.
To the Committee on Youth and Sports Development.
House Resolution 1242, expressing warmest congratulations and commendation of the House to the Pentecostal Missionary Church of Christ Fourth Watch on the occasion of its 50th founding anniversary and for its remarkable contributions to the spiritual empowerment of many Filipinos by Representative Romualdez Ferdinand Martin.
To the Committee on Rules.
Message from the Senate. Message dated August 29, 2023, informing the House of Representatives that on even date the Senate passed Senate Bill 2019, in which it requests the concurrence of the House.
To the Committee on Labor and Employment.
Communications. Letters dated July 6 and 7, 2023 of the BIR Commissioner submitting to the House of Representatives certain financial accountability reports as of June 30, 2023.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated July 13, 2023 of the Supervising Auditor, Audit Team Number R9-01, COA Regional Office Number 9, furnishing the House with a copy of their annual audit report on the Western Mindanao State University for the year ending December 31st, 2022.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Letter dated July 17, 2023 of the Catanduanes State University President, submitting to the House a copy of their quarterly physical report of operations as of June 30, 2023.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Various letters and reports submitted by local government chief executives and officials regarding their fund utilization and status of program project implementation of the Local Government Support Fund.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated July 27, 2023 of the National Irrigation Administration Regional Manager, submitting to the House a copy of the status of infra procurement implementation as of July 15, 2023 in the 1st District of Leyte.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated July 27, 2023 of the National Youth Commission Chairperson and CEO informing the House that their report on the utilization of SK Mandatory and Continuing Training Fund Statement of Appropriations, Allotments, Obligations, Disbursements, and Balances as of the quarter ending June 30, 2023 was posted on their website Transparency Seal on July 20, 2023.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated July 28, 2023 of the Acting General Manager of the Philippine Fisheries Development Authority informing the House that certain reports as of June 30, 2023 were posted on their website.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated August 3, 2023 of the Philippine Competition Commission Chairperson submitting to the House copies of their 2022 annual report which was posted on their website.
To the Committee on Economic Affairs.
Letters dated August 3 and 8, 2023 of the OIC Executive Director, Agricultural Credit Policy Council, Department of Agriculture, submitting to the House copies of certain reports which were posted on their website.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated August 3, 2023 of the Bureau of Immigration Commissioner, submitting to the House a copy of their agency action plan and status of implementation as of July 2023 on audit observation and recommendations of the Commission on Audit for the calendar year 2022.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated August 4, 2023 of the DOTR Undersecretary for Administration and Finance, transmitting to the House certain financial reports for the month of July 2023.
To the Committee on Appropriations.
Letter dated August 10, 2023 of the Acting Director, Financial and Administrative Service, Board of Investments, submitting to the House a copy of their agency action plan and status of implementation as of August 8, 2023 on audit observations and recommendations of the COA for the calendar year 2022.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Bureau of Treasury Agency Action Plan and Status of Implementation on Audit Observations and Recommendations of the COA for the calendar year 2022.
To the Committee on Public Accounts.
Bureau of Customs Mid-Year Accomplishment Report 2023.
To the Committee on Ways and Means.
National Intelligence Coordinating Agency Accomplishment Report for July 2022 to June 2023.
To the Special Committee on Strategic Intelligence.
Letters dated August 24 of the Executive Secretary, Office of the President, Malacanang, transmitting two original copies each of Republic Act numbers 11958, 11959, 11960, and 11961, which were signed by President Ferdinand Romualdez Marcos Jr.
To the Archives.
Committee reports. Committee Report 730 submitted by the Committee on Higher and Technical Education on House Resolution 1244. Committee Report numbers 731 to 735 submitted by the Committee on Higher and Technical Education and the Committee on Appropriations on House Bill numbers 9015 to 9019 respectively. Committee Report number 736 submitted by the Committee on Information and Communications Technology on House Bill number 9021.
The aforementioned committee reports are referred to the Committee on Rules. Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, I move that we adjourn session until tomorrow, September 5 at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, session is adjourned until tomorrow at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, September 5, 2023.
to be